Derek Stingley, his employment has not been terminated. The exact opposite has happened. A 3-year deal making him the highest-paid defensive back in the league. It's 90, and hey, we know this routine. I wrote about it over the weekend. 90 million, 30 million per year. That's the new money average. It's a more complicated calculation as to what the deal is actually worth, and that's the true apples to apples. What's the deal actually worth? But he has gotten paid after only 3 seasons in the National Football League. And this is one of the great strategic decisions that teams have to make now, Chris.
We talk about it all the time. Right.
Yeah, when you get a guy in the first round and the window opens on a second contract, do you want to delay it and get that 4th year at a very cheap number and then pay him next year? Or do you rip up the deal and reward him after 3 seasons? The Texans choosing to make the commitment, and this 3-year, $90 million extension, I'm assuming means 3 years after 4th year and 5th year option. So it's what he was going to make this year. It's what he would have made roughly in the 5th year option, and 3 years on top of it. I think. I haven't seen the details yet. And the details, here's what happens. The details are very sketchy because the insiders get told 3 years 90, and they run with 3 years 90, and they never stop to think or scrutinize or question, is it 4 years plus what he was going to make this year? Is it 5 years plus what he was going to make next year? They don't ask, and they don't tell, because 3 years 90 is the best way that it can be characterized for the agent who spoon-fed the information to the insiders. I wrote about this yesterday at PFT.
I saw it.
And got a lot of positive feedback, including from some of our bosses who appreciate it very much that I'm calling it what it is. So, me saying whatever I want can be good. It can be bad. It can be both at the same time. But all we know is 3 years 90 because that's what they want us to know, because that makes the player and his agents look the best that they'll possibly look, $30 million per year.
Yeah, that's the game that gets played here. We know that. That's part of it. Just the banner, the headline that's so important in our world in general with everything right now. But I think the first thing that just pops to my head again is Nick Caserio and what you're referring to. And the fact that they're just ahead of the game. Nick Caserio, again, to me, continuing to show he's one of the better GMs in all of football with how he's built this team, how he continues to plan for the future, how he stays ahead of things. These are the things we've bragged about with Howie Roseman and other good GMs throughout football. When you know you got a guy and he's special, why are you dragging your feet, right? And we've got a lot of examples of dragging your feet. So that's what I don't get. And then this path compared to hey, we're going to get to the 4th year, and then we're going to kind of talk about a contract, and we're not sure, but there's the 5th year option, or we get to the 5th year option, and then we talk about the franchise tag, and it becomes a disruption and a distraction to the football team. This takes all of that away. Your best player, one of your best players in your team is happy right now, right away. That leads to a better locker room, a better culture, a better environment, everything of that nature. So that's the first thing that you love about that. It allows the team now to plan for the future as well. That's the thing I think also people kind of lose track of. When you got a contract ready and blah, 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 and it's done, now you can start to put pieces together 2 and 3 moves down the road a little bit instead of, wait, we don't have this done. Oh, we can't do that because we're still not sure about this over here, and now we can't do that or that because we're still not sure, and that's just not good football with how teams operate. So, yeah, I love the move. They invested in the guy. He's a top 3 pick in the draft. He's played like that. And he is a guy that I would have expected if we heard contract where I'd go, yeah, we might hear highest paid corner in league history when it's all said and done with this guy, because he's worthy of that. He's shown that. He's had a phenomenal first 3 years, and last year he was out of this world, and he's in the conversation with Surtain and Ahmed Sauce Gardner and everybody like that is top corner in football now. That's where he is in the hierarchy.
And he is also the grandson of the late Derek Stingley.
Incredible story. Yeah.
Was paralyzed in a hit during a preseason game, Patriots-Raiders back in the mid-'70s. There's a great story about how John Madden, because it happened in Oakland, John Madden spent a lot of time at the hospital and befriended the family. There was a great, and I think it was an NBC thing, I believe, if I recall correctly.
Right.
It was a Thanksgiving thing, I believe, and within the past couple of years. It was a great story about Derek's dad, Derek Stingley Sr., and I think John Madden's son. They became very good friends. I'm probably misremembering some of the details, but I do remember it was a great story. And Derek Stingley Jr., just 2 generations removed from Darryl Stingley, who was one of the great receivers in the NFL back when I first discovered the sport.
I mean, what a story. What a story. Even just the fact that he's playing football, in my opinion, is an unbelievable story. That's the kind of story that scares a whole family away from playing football ever again. Like, oh, damn, that happened to Grandpa? Damn, I mean, we're not playing football. No, I don't want that. The fact that he's got, doing this, succeeding in the level in which he is, right? I mean, damn, I'm sure his granddad's proud of him for what he's doing.
And look, you mentioned Sauce Gardner. He's going to be the next one up. And the Jets have this issue now because they've got 2 young players who have 3 years in, and they were both first-round picks, Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson. And there's been some general talk about, willingness to extend them. But again, when are you going to do it? And you're going to try to drag your feet through 4th year of the contract, which is much cheaper than the 5th-year option,
right,
and wait until the 4th year is done before you pay them, like the Bengals did with Jamar Chase, like the Cowboys did with Micah Parsons, like the Vikings did with Justin Jefferson. Just slow it down enough so you get that 4th year at a very low number, because that's gone. You never pay a guy for what's already happened. You get that 4th year at $3, $4, $5 million. That is a huge windfall for a team. That's going to be the challenge. But the Texans, they're not playing that game. They ripped up the contract. And again, my gut tells me it's a 5-year deal. Yeah. My gut tells me it's a 5-year deal, especially to do it now. They're not going to do a 3-year extension on 1 year left.
Yeah.
This number of $90 million, 3 years, $90 million, is tacked on to what he was going to make this year and what he was due to make in 26 on the 5th-year option. And that will result in a average from signing that's a lot lower than.
So you're saying they exercised the 5th-year option within this, or just explain that to me.
I'm saying that that this is a 5-year contract.
Okay.
And the agents, when they handed the information to the insiders who asked no questions lest they lose the thumb race to Twitter, they took 3 years, $90 million, treated it as gospel, and ran with it. And 3 years, $90 million is supportable if you look at this 5-year contract, peel off the money he would have made this year and next year, and look at what's left. We got $90 million left. We got 3 new years. That's where the new money comes from. That's where the new money calculation is. How much more money is he going to make over the next 2 years than he would have made? How much does he make the 3 years after that? That's the new money. Divide it by the 3 new years, and there's your new money average. And he pumps up the market from 25 to 30. The defensive back market, we just talked about this last week with Travis Hunter. Like, if I'm Travis Hunter, okay, you've got receiver now at 40. You had corner at 25. Gee, which position would I rather play? Well, now new money average for corner is up to 30. So the gap is a little narrower, but still there's a gap. Now, I'd like to think there's fewer high-achieving corners than there are high-achieving receivers. And look around at some of the receivers on the wrong side of 30 right now that their phone isn't ringing, or if it's ringing, the offers are, closer to the DeAndre Hopkins 1 year, $5 million. So it might be more competition to rise to the top of the receiver market, but the top of the receiver market has a significantly greater reward. Yeah,
it does. And I think that we'll continue to see this market go up, because between Stingley, is Sauce Gardner, right? Where is Patrick Surtain? He hasn't signed yet, right? As a new contract. I don't believe. I can't remember.
No, he did last year. They got him last year.
Gotcha.
Boom. They did the same thing. 3 years. Get him done.
So get him done. Okay, either way. So I think we'll continue to see that go up. Surtain, as I'm saying that now, I'm going, oh, damn, I remember that. And he's going to go, wow, I'm getting left in the dust by J.C. Horn and other guys here. But I think we see that market go up. But these guys are more at a premium as far as guys that you can put on an island versus top-flight wide receivers and trust them in those situations. There's only really a handful in football that you can trust to do that consistently throughout a football game against the top guys. And that's where Derek Stingley comes into play. And there's great value in that. We're seeing that. We're seeing that with the Chiefs. They're a team that plays man-to-man. They were at their best when L'Jarius Sneed and O.J. McDuffie or Trent McDuffie were out there doing their thing. So there is value in that. As we've talked about before last week with the Patriots, when you got good man-to-man corners with these running quarterbacks, now you can kind of figure out with the other 9 guys how to stop everything. But again, I got to say, with the Texans, I love everything they're doing here right now. They're a team that's in the window. They're in the Super Bowl window. They're continuing to get better, even this offseason with adjustments to the football team. And limiting distractions, right? You brought up other teams that have kicked the can into this, the 4th year, and we're going to get it at a low number and all of that, and all of those things. Yeah, but every one of those I want to go, usually led up into a screwed up season the next year, and it wasn't the best football on the field because that became a distraction like the Jamar Chase thing did, and a bunch of other ones that we've seen throughout the NFL over the last few years. So this is out the window, and now you don't got to worry about that, and they just continue to build and go forward, and this will allow them to get ready for C.J. Stroud's contract, which I'm sure they'll get out in front of too. A lot of good things with what the Houston Texans are doing.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.